Okay, so now we're just going to go over like a parent evaluation of the activity. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions and see how you felt about the activities we implemented. So, which activity do you think did you like the most, like with implementing?
Definitely the coloring, because I felt like he was doing so many complex things that I didn't really know he could do. So
Yeah.
it would impress me to see him take the cap off and put it back on, and then his ability to be able to just do that seamlessly wasn't really something I've seen him do before. Because we use crayons mostly, not markers.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see him understand those concepts.
Yeah, I was honestly really surprised with him being able to get that off because, like, I was playing with Lily earlier and she was having a hard time and she was asking help. So I was like, oh, okay, Reese will probably do that. No,
Yeah, and most of that was awesome. He didn't give up. He just kept like doing it until he figured it out.
Yeah.
And that just is something that you can't really teach.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you feel you did with implementing? Do you think that you felt strongly about implementing it, or were there areas that you could improve on?
Yeah, I think overall I did a good job implementing them. The big issue that I had is I probably need to learn when I'm implementing those activities is just to give him more control over doing it. I felt myself wanting to rush him into kind of the answer or the outcome that
Yeah.
I expect him to have, and maybe just letting him figure it out more. So I think on that part I probably could have done better.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, you did really good. Like,
Thanks.
really good for implementing these strategies. But yeah, that wait time is always good. But it's kind of hard with being in a session like this when, like you said, when you know he can
Right.
produce that answer, and you're like, come on,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and as a parent, you want your kid to perform really well. I mean, I see now when I was at sporting events and parents be yelling from the stands at their kids, and you're like, man, parents hardcore, but I get it because you're like, impress these people.
yeah,
I
like
taught you
they're
better than this.
here
Yeah.
to show what you got.
Exactly.
Okay, so then now pertaining more to Reese, which activity do you think Reese did the best on today?
I would say in terms of like sabotage and the other two, or do you mean just like the activity itself?
Yeah, just pretty much the activity itself. Like, which one do you think he participated in the best?
Oh, definitely the coloring. I think
Yeah.
when it came to the book and trying to identify the different items in the book, I think obviously at that point he kind of was done
Yeah.
performing an activity, so I think that made a lot more sense. At the beginning, with the coloring, I think he seemed more into it.
Yeah. Well, and with the book, some of the items were more complex and more challenging. So with kids his age,
Right.
once it gets challenging, they're like, nah, I'll go do something else that
Sure.
I know I can
Yeah,
do.
like go look
and
for a
complete.
moon through a ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. The next question, which activity would you consider implementing again with Reese on your own?
Well, I think all of them. I think they were great. I really
Good.
enjoyed doing it. But I think if I had to choose one, I would, at this point, choose the book just because I want to see him master that. I want to see him get better at it. As
Yeah.
opposed to, I felt like with the coloring, I felt like he did such a good job on it. It's something that we could do, and it'd be fun. I would like to work on the colors with him more. I think that was something that just everything was yellow. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, that's not everything's yellow. Towards the end, he was saying some different ones, but
Yeah.
I want to work on that. And then as far as the books are concerned, I think that one was something that I wanted to see him do better at.
Yeah, and like you told me earlier, he really enjoys books, so
Right.
that would be a good activity to implement within the
Definitely.
household. And then, do you think Reese could have been challenged in any of the strategies that we use today? So sabotage, language expansion, or turn taking. Do you think we could have pushed him any farther, or do you think that he pretty much
I think
showed?
earlier I mentioned that I felt like he lost attention during one of the activities, and I think that kind of hurt a little bit. But I would say turn taking overall, because I think I know Reese to know him well enough that he's not good at turn taking, and he didn't really display that during the activity. So I think I probably should have pushed him more to learn turn taking better and show him turn taking, just because I felt like knowing him and how he acts, I was kind of shocked that he was doing so well at turn taking, because that's
Yeah.
normally not how he is.
I was about to say,
So-
he did really good because you would ask him the question what the animal was, he would respond, and then he would stop
Right.
his response and let you respond back. So
But
a lot
normally
of
it's not. It
2-year-olds
doesn't
don't
go as
let
smooth as that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, a lot of
Yeah.
2-year-olds, period, don't
Right.
let that happen. So, And what are some areas Reese could work on regarding his language past what we worked on today?
Yeah, so I think for his age, I think he does a really good job with his language. The big thing that I would like to see is him string along words better. So at this point, he'll say 2 or 3 words really well, but I don't really hear him saying many sentences very often. And I've heard him say a few here and there, and I'm always shocked by it. But I would like to see him string along more words and form more coherent sentences.
Okay. And then during play, do you feel like Reese interacts with you and tries to do the turn-taking strategy during conversations, or if you try to spark up a conversation about what you're doing, does he interact with you and do turn-taking? You kind of answered that saying that.
Yeah. He does, but it goes away real fast.
Yeah.
So he loves to turn take, but after a couple minutes, he's done. He wants to do what Reese wants to do, and if I try to do turn taking, he's out.
Yeah.
So and especially if it's something I want to do, and I try to get him to do it, if he's not interested, he is not interested.
Yeah.
So I think that's something he needs to work on is his turn taking.
Yeah, and definitely like interacting with objects that he's interested in will obviously help that and help him improve in those skills. So,
and when I try to interact with him on the different objects that he's interested in, oftentimes he'll not want me to actually interact with them. So say he's playing with something, I'll be like, "Oh, can I play?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
But he wants to show me, but he wants to maintain control of it. So that's, I think, goes back to his inability to sometimes be good at turn taking. I think he has to be able to relinquish that object or whatever we're doing and take better turns.
Yeah, and with time he'll improve that skill, obviously. And then does Reese have any problems producing like specific sounds during speech, or do you think he's pretty on par with his age so far?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert, but I think that he definitely is on par where he should be. I think that's actually one of his strengths, is his ability to speak and use language properly.
Okay, good. And then the last thing we're going to do today with this session is go over a handout that's a part of this packet, and it's just home activities, suggestions that I have placed in the packet for you and your wife to implement later on while I'm not here, if you would like to.
Okay.
So one of them is a mystery box, and it helps language expansion. So pretty much there's a little blurb to explain it. So this activity can be completely like made at home. You can utilize an old shoebox and then cut a hole in it. Just make sure it's big enough to where somebody's hand can fit through it. And then once you do that, just place random objects in the box. Hold it up so where he can reach in it, but he can't see.
Okay.
Let him reach in, pull one thing out, and then talk about that object. Like, let him try to label it, and then once he labels it, say, "Oh yeah, what color is it?" Or does it feel rough, or is it soft? It's just like different describing words that could go with that. So I put an example. You pull out, like you hold up the box, and then he pulls it out, and you say, "What is it?" And it's a banana, but he says "nana." You would say, "Yes, that's a yellow banana." So it's just kind of imprinting on his brain, so then later on he'll be like, "Oh wait, Dad said banana, not nana." And after a while it'll like catch on. So then he grabs another one. What is that? A dog. Yes, that's a little dog. So it's just little things like that that will help his language explode.
Okay.
And then this one's more of a routine that happens on a daily basis, is taking a bath. So for this activity, you can simply perform your normal bath routine. When your child takes their bath, say they have a specific toy that they really like playing with in the bath, put it out of reach.
Okay.
So then this will be another strategy of sabotage. Sure. So then when he says ducky, or say it's a rubber duck, and say he says ducky, you're like, "Oh, you want ducky?"
Yeah.
Okay, well, say daddy, or say mommy, or say a word that he hasn't said before, or like colors. You can work on colors during that. Say purple, say green, and then once he says it, hand it to him. And
so extortion.
Yeah. So provide him with the material that was not provided at first.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then it just shows pretty much that example below the description.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I have for this session today. You did awesome.
Thank you.
And Reese did great.
I appreciate the help.
Yeah.
And the suggestions. Thank you.